watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television. This is The Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
Good Sunday morning and welcome into The Sports Source. Glad to have you with us. All you masochists, get ready. It's our 50 Shades of Smoky Gray show. Basically, we're counting down to our 600th episode in August. We launched in 2003. We thought it'd be fun to go back with that book and that movie being such a huge success. We thought it might be a fun play to go back and look at the biggest pleasures and pains for Tennessee sports fans since we launched our show back in 2003. That's what we're going to race through today. Let's kick the thing off by telling you about the folks who bring this first segment, Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land. And folks, if you're looking for a beautiful home located in Farragut with a design inspired by historic Charleston architecture, take a look at this fantastic home. 4 beds, 4 baths, more than 4,000 square feet. It's gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous in Farragut. Give the folks at Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land a call to learn more about this home, or to list your home, or to find out about another home. No better folks in town than Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land. All right. Well, these guys are pretty good, but they're still not as good as the folks at Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land. Bob Hodge, freelance contributor to the Knoxville News Sentinel. John Wilkerson, always good to have you with us from Sports Radio WNML, where you co-host Sports Talk Monday through Friday every, 3 to 7. 3 to 7.
That's right.
We got right there Mike Strange, who's a long-time columnist for the Knoxville News Sentinel. Also, you do radio on Sports on Sports Radio WNML, the sports page. That's once or twice a week you're on there. And down there, Chuck Cavaleris, SouthernGolfCentral.com, Southern Golf Central, the magazine, always finding some great deal to get him out of town and write a freebie article about some golf place. All right, gentlemen, the timing of this show couldn't be better. All right, because basically, since we launched in 2003, in September of 2003, about 2005 things started going wrong, and anytime you have a positive, you wind up having a negative. Mike, you did a very good article on that this week, column on that about coaches. But you look at this week, for example, Rick Barnes. Maybe if you go back and look at it, we talked about it at the time. Certainly Tennessee's most high-profile, best name hire since Johnny Majors in the 70s. So you think that's great. What happens this week? He's named in an academic scandal at Texas. Now, it doesn't look like that's going to turn into anything, you don't think. But still, you're thinking, great, and then here comes some bad. Juwan Jennings. There's another one. Let's take it to football. Juwan Jennings, hotshot recruit, prospect. Everybody wanted to get him. What happens this week? Story comes out that he's accused of assault, of theft, damage to property. Bottom line is, you look back over these last 10 years especially, Tennessee can't seem to get one positive without having a negative. And how many times have we done, okay, have they turned the corner? Yeah, they've turned the corner, only to find out they haven't. Can you think of another school that's ever been through anything like this?
Wow.
Never.
No, you really can't. And the first thing you want to say is, well, we're here. We know all of these things. Yeah. But most of the cases that you've mentioned have been national news. And most everybody here keeps up with national sports stories. You forget some, obviously. Has Tennessee been through the worst of the stories? No, probably not. Go ask some of the other schools, some of the things they've been through.
North Carolina's getting...
Penn State, for example. Yeah. But the continual, it's like Chinese water torture more so than having a hand cut off.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and no doubt about it. It was easier to whittle down to the 50 pains, but it took a while to get together to build up the 50 pleasures, because it's just been kind of a sports wasteland for Tennessee because of so many downs that have been really not offset that greatly by the ups.
There's just been times where you say you couldn't make this stuff up.
Yeah, really. And Mike, you've covered them for a long time and written about them for a long time. You pointed out in that column this week that actually went 11 years with the same 3 coaches for a while.
Yeah.
Then you look at it, I thought this was incredible. Since we launched in September of 2003, Tennessee has had 5 men's basketball coaches, 2 women's basketball coaches, 3 baseball coaches, 4 football coaches, 2 athletic directors. By my count, that's 16 coaches and athletic directors in a 12-year span. Chuck, you ever seen anything like that?
No, it's kind of like a new meaning of the Tennessee two-step, because it's like one step forward and 2 steps back. And for a while, it seemed like you had stability in so many areas that, whether it was your athletic director, whether, there's only 2 head football coaches for all of those.
President as well.
Exactly. So, and then all of a sudden, it's like once it started, it's been like a decade of, you could almost say a decade of turmoil with things hitting, every so often in the news side.
And the funny thing is, you can blame this on people to an extent, but it's also, there's a lot of just bad luck.
Yeah.
Just bad timing, just bad luck. It's not that you haven't had somebody or some people sitting there making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. So much of it is just plain old-fashioned, I woke up this morning and stumped my toe, broke my foot, and the day was horrible from that. Or a decade and a half.
Well, yeah,
And then it got worse.
But and one of the things, when we're looking at the pleasures, we're obviously not going to talk about anything, but when we're looking at the pains, we're leaving out anything serious. This is kind of a lighthearted show, so we're not going to include injuries like the serious injury to Inky Johnson, which would have been
Correct.
That would be on the list. And one that you're talking about of just horrible luck is the Pat Summitt situation. I mean, who would have ever said illnesses aren't going to be looked at in this, and neither are deaths. We're not going to go there either. Tennessee has lost some great folks in Haywood Harris and Andy Kozar in recent years, Hank Loricella. So we're not going to go down those roads. But when you look at Pat Summitt, for example, that's one that's nobody's bad decision. That's just hellacious, mean, awful, evil luck.
Yeah.
And I don't know, as an athletic department, you look at around the conference, for the most part, this school has been, they've been having ups and downs in this sport, but they're solid in this one. But for Tennessee, it's just been turmoil in every single phase of the athletic department, it seems.
Is our next segment going to be more uplifting?
Yes, next segment we will look at the pleasures. We're going to look at the 10 biggest pleasures for football over the last 12 years since we launched the show. We'll start with pleasures, then we'll go into pains, then we'll go back to pleasures. Come on back on the Sports Source.
Quality, quick. Trust Fast Frame.